Hello everybody, so today you find us at Staplehurst in beautiful part of Kent. Everything's going on today, so it's been very busy as most train stations are. Today we're going to be focusing on the Staplehurst railway crash, so stay tuned and find out about this tragic story that happened in Kent. So see you on the other side, bye for now. On the 9th of June 1865, the daily boat train left Folkestone bound for London between 2:36 p.m. and 2:39 p.m, having taken on board passengers on a tidal cross-channel ferry from France. The tender locomotive number 199 hauled the train made up of a brake van, a second-class carriage, 7 first-class carriages, 2 second-class carriages and 3 brake vans, carrying a total of 80 first-class and 35 second-class passengers. The 3 brake vans were staffed with guards, and communication from the driver was made with the engine's whistle. Just after the train passed Headcorn station, travelling at 45 to 50 miles per hour, the driver saw a red flag. He whistled for the brakes and reversed the engine, but the locomotive and the brakesman could only slow the train to about 30 miles per hour before it derailed at 3:13 p.m, crossing the Blut Viaduct, where a length of track had been removed during engineering works. The viaduct was 10 foot high with 8 openings, each 21 foot wide, crossing over a mostly dry riverbed at the time of the accident. The locomotive, tender and leading second-class carriage made it across and remained coupled to the first-class carriage, the other end of which rested in a dry riverbed. The next 7 carriages also ended up in the muddy riverbed. The last 2 second-class carriages remained coupled to the trailing brake vans, and the last 2 remained on the eastern bank. 10 people died, 40 people injured. 7 carriages were destroyed either by the derailment or during the rescue operation. The Board of Trade report published on the 21st of June 1865 found that the previous 8 to 10 weeks a team of 8 men and a foreman had been renewing timbers under the tracks on the viaducts between Headcorn and Staplehurst railway stations. The track would be removed when no train was due. However, on the 9th of June, the foreman had misread the timetable for the tidal boat train that day, which ran at different times due to the tide in the English Channel. Regulations required a man with a red flag should be 1,000 yards away, but he was only 554 yards away, which meant the train had insufficient time to stop. Also, no notification to the driver was given, hence the foreman, Benj, was tried for manslaughter. There are several witnesses. One described the derailment as 2 terrible jolts in an instant, and all became darkness and chaos. Another reported trapped bodies inside the wreckage, hearing the groans of the dying and wounded, and cries from panic-stricken women and children. Charles Dickens was aboard the train in a first-class carriage with his mistress Ellen Tiernan and her mother Frances Tiernan. The carriage did not completely fall into the river and survived the derailment. Charles Dickens climbed from the compartment through a window and rescued Ellen and her mother. With a flask of brandy and his hat filled with water, Dickens attended the other passengers, some who died whilst he was with them. Later, before boarding an emergency train bound for London, Dickens returned to his carriage to retrieve the manuscript of Our Mutual Friend, of which he was working on. He later acknowledged the incident in his novel's manuscript. Dickens kept a low profile as he did not want it publicly known that he was with his mistress. The South Eastern Railway presented him with a piece of plate to show his appreciation for his assistance in the aftermath of the accident. The experience affected Dickens greatly. It is said that he lost his voice for 2 weeks and was very nervous when travelling by train. He would use alternative travel means when available. Dickens died 5 years to the day after the accident, and his son said that he had never fully recovered. And so ends the story of the Staplehurst railway crash, one of Kent's greatest disasters. Okay, so that was the Staplehurst rail crash. Obviously we're still in Staplehurst at the moment, and whether you can see it or not in the distance, that's the actual train line. It would be nice if I was sort of speaking and a train suddenly came across, but that's the train line. Obviously the train actually didn't reach this point, so it was the viaduct itself is just in the distance, and the river is sort of just there as well, but the river only really comes under the train line twice, one at Headcorn, which you obviously saw in the video itself. That's why, because that was the only place to sort of be accessible, and also not only that, in that bit of footage that I got for you was the viaduct at Staplehurst. Really, you can only see it via drone because it's just so out the way. There's no footpaths or anything to even get close to it. So hopefully you can understand that the footage of that is the Headcorn one, which is obviously where the train, funny enough, would have gone over anyway. But yeah, as we stand here, Staplehurst train station is that way, and then obviously Headcorn is that way, but the train would have been heading towards this way, but it didn't even get this far. It literally was just around the corner from where we are. But like I said, unfortunately I couldn't get you any closer to the actual incident itself, so hopefully you understand that. So in the immortal words of Phoenix history, thank you so much for watching, take care everybody, and I will see y'all very soon. Goodbye for now.